cover Class 8 Civics, Chapter 1, the Indian Constitution. Every society has certain set of rules that makes it different from other societies. These rules are formulated through common consent among different communities in large societies. A constitution is a written document containing such rules. The first subtopic, need of constitution. The need of constitution can be understood from the following points. The constitution contains rules and principles which forms the basis of the government of a country. Such rules and regulations are agreed upon by all citizens of the country. Also, the constitution determines the nature of a country's political system, whether it will have a democratic system or a monarchy. Also, constitution prevents the misuse of power by the powerful or the political leaders. In India, such provision has been made in the section of the fundamental rights. Also, the constitution ensures that the dominant group does not use its power against other less powerful groups or people. It ensures that minorities are not excluded from anything and that is generally available to the majority. It prevents domination by the major of a minority. This domination can be inter-community, which means a community dominating other communities, or intra-community, which means the community dominating others within their own community. Also, the constitution prevents government from taking harmful decisions that may affect the freedom or the rights of the country's citizens. As it is given in the textbook about the democracy in Nepal, Nepal had seen various struggles by people demanding democracy. Democracy was first established in Nepal in 1990 after a people's struggle which lasted till 2002. However, in February 2005, the king took over the government. However, due to the People's Movement of 2006, Nepal again became a democracy in 2008 after abolishing the monarchy. Moving on to the next topic, the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution describes the procedure of setting up the government in the country. It also contains the rules that determines its function. The Indian Constitution was prepared by a group of around 300 people who became the members of the Constituent Assembly formed in December 1946. The Constituent Assembly was formed in 1946. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of the Constituent Assembly. The members of the Constituent Assembly met periodically for the next 3 years to write India's constitution. The challenges faced by the Constituent Assembly in writing the constitution were: first, the country was made up of different communities who spoke different languages, belonged to different religions and had different cultures. In short, the country was very diverse. And the second, the country was about to divide into India and Pakistan, and some of the states remained undecided about their future. Besides all of this, the Constituent Assembly prepared the constitution that reflects the respect for maintaining the diversity of the country. It also reflects upon eradicating poverty, which means decreasing poverty through socio-cultural reform and incorporating the role of people in choosing the representatives. Representative means it refers to the person who is elected by the people through general elections to represent a constituency in a government system. One important point, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar was the father of the Indian Constitution. The president of the Constituent Assembly was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and the father of the Indian Constitution is Bhimrao Ambedkar, sir. Moving on to the next subtopic, which is key features of the Indian Constitution. By the beginning of the 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for independence from British rule for several decades. During the freedom struggle, the nationalists had devoted a great deal of time to imagining and planning what a free India would be like. Under the British, they had been forced to obey rules that they had very little role in making. The long experience of authoritarian rule under the colonial state convinced Indians that free India should be a democracy in which everyone should be treated equally and be allowed to participate in the government. So the key features of the Indian Constitution are: first, federalism. It means the existence of more than one level of government. India has three levels of government: the central government, the state government, and the village or the Panchayati Raj level. The constitution contains different lists for different tiers of government. These lists have specific subjects on which each tier can make laws. For example, states have authority in making laws on certain issues. However, on subjects related to national concern, only central government can make laws. The constitution also specifies the source of money for each tier of the government. Second, parliamentary form of government. This form is run by the representatives chosen by the people of the country. The Constitution of India grants universal adult suffrage, which means all citizens can take part in the elections, irrespective of their caste, gender, race, or social background. Third, separation of powers. There are three organs of government in India, namely legislature, executive, and judiciary. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. The judiciary refers to the system of courts in the country. And the legislature consists of the elected representatives. The Indian Constitution specifies separate set of power for each of these organs. This prevents misuse of power and ensures balance in the running of the government. The next topic, fundamental rights. This protects every citizen from arbitrary and misuse of power. Arbitrary is a situation when nothing is fixed and instead left to one's judgment or choice. There are 6 fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution, which are as follows. First, the right to equality. It states that all persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the laws of the country. This right states that no citizen can be discriminated on any basis. Second, right to freedom. It includes freedom of speech and expression, right to form associations, right to move freely and reside in any part of the country, and the right to practice any profession, occupation, or business. Third, right to freedom of religion. Under this right, every person has the right to practice, profess, and propagate the religion of their choice. Fourth, right against exploitation. It prohibits against human trafficking, forced labor, and employment of children under 14 years of age. Human trafficking means it is the practice of illegal trade in human beings. Fifth, right to constitutional remedies. It allows citizens to appeal in the court if any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state. And lastly, cultural and educational rights. It provides a right to all minorities to set up their own educational institutions for preserving and developing their culture. Apart from these fundamental rights, the Constitution also includes directive principles of state policies. These ensure greater social and economic reforms. They also serve as a guide to independent Indian state to make laws and policies to help reduce the poverty of the masses. And lastly, secularism. The Indian Constitution has provided for a secular state. A secular state is one which does not officially promote any religion as a state religion. Hence, India is equal treatment. Hence, in India, equal treatment is given to all religions. With this, we end our chapter, the Indian Constitution. Thank you.